what does this word Margaya mean? Okay, Margaya means the one who shows ways. Typical rude son who doesn't obey the parents. So that is the actual character of this person. So she was a daughter of a very well-off man. Okay, he is the bridge between the cooperative bank and Margaya. Hello everyone, I am Dr. Shalini, Professor of English, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. Today we are here to understand about the characters that are there in the text prescribed for you for 3rd Sem BCom. So we are going to understand, we are going to analyze, or we are going to have the character sketches in the novel The Financial Expert. Okay, so what are we going to learn in today's session? So let's understand. So we are going to understand all the major and minor characters that are there in the novel. Okay, so which are the various characters we are going to understand? So let us start with Margaya, that is the major character. Okay, first we'll have Margaya, then Meenakshi, wife of Margaya, then we are going to understand about Balu, son of Margaya, then Dr. Pal, who was an acquaintance to Margaya. Acquaintance means a person known to Margaya. Okay, so Dr. Pal, then we have Madan Lal, the printer and the publisher, then Arul Das, you can say the attender. Okay, so the person who was working in the cooperative bank. Okay, then we have Brinda, who is the wife of Balu. Okay, so these are the characters we are going to understand. Fine. So these three are minor characters. All the remaining are the major characters. Okay, so you may get 1 mark question, you may get 5 mark question, you may also get maybe 10 marks question also regarding these major characters. Okay, you can get 1 mark question. Okay, you can get 1 mark question, or maybe 5 mark question, or also 10 marks question. But here you can either get 1 mark or 5 mark, because there is not much to write about the minor characters. Okay, so let's begin with the first character. Okay, as I said, I want you to recall what I said during the character sketching session which we learned earlier. Okay, what are the things you should consider while understanding or while analyzing a character? Okay, so those things if you keep in mind, analyzing such characters, analyzing the characters that are there in the novel will be very easy for you. Okay, so what did I say? When you you have to compare this to your real life whenever you are analyzing a character. Okay, so what you have to do is, you just, how do you analyze a person in real life? So you look at him first, that's the physical appearance, then little closer to that person, then you start analyzing his characters, like how he behaves with you, how is his behavior with the other people and all. Okay, so then getting little more close to that person, then you will start analyzing the personal traits. Okay, like how is his character, how does he think about himself, how does he deal with other people, then what are his habits, what are his whereabouts, everything you're going to understand when you get little closer to that person. So here also you just have to first look at the character, then go little deeper, go little more deep. So like this, you can go like this. So let us understand a few things about this major character Margaya. You can call him a protagonist. Okay, so Margaya can be called as the protagonist. What is a protagonist? Whom do you call a protagonist? Who is the hero of the novel. In simple words, you can call him the hero of the novel. Antagonist, protagonist, they both are antonyms. Antonyms means opposite. Protagonist is the hero, antagonist is the villain of the novel. Okay, so here coming to this one, the first thing you have to write is the meaning of the word. What does this word Margaya mean? Okay, Margaya means the one who shows ways. Okay, the one who shows way. Okay, so here his actual name is something different. Okay, his actual name is something different that is revealed after during probably the novel progresses for one part. Okay, during the end of the first part, you'll get to know the real name of Margaya, that is Krishna. Okay, Krishna is the real name of Margaya. Okay, so the real name. That too, when he goes in search of his horoscope, then only the author reveals the real name of Margaya. Fine. Then, so first you will start it with this. Okay, you can also start like Margaya is the protagonist of the novel. The meaning of the name is the one who shows ways. His actual name is Krishna. So this way you can start writing the answer there. Okay, so then we have to speak about his attire. Attire means the clothes what he is wearing. Okay, so his dress or the clothes. Okay, the way he dresses. Okay, so the dressing sense you can write over here. Okay, so how does he dress? Okay, he wears very soiled clothes. It's not very neat. Okay, so that type clothes he wears. Okay, so soiled clothes. Soil means little dirty. Okay, soiled is little dirty. So soiled clothes. Okay, then not ironed or not neat. Okay, the way we and you come to college, you never used to go to work that way. He just used to pick up something, wear it, and he went. Okay, his main aim was to earn money. That's it. He never used to pay attention for any other aspect. Okay, so he never worried about his attire. Okay, then you can write about the clothes. So like if you just start with this, his clothes were soiled, then it was not neat, it was not ironed. So you can just add some more words and make it little elaborate. Okay, so it depends on how you write. Suppose you're writing for 10 marks, you will have to write 1.5 page. Then you will have to add your own words. If you're writing for probably 1 mark, so you can just say he was a very greedy man, or you can also say he was a person who wanted to earn more money. So that is for 1 mark. If you're writing for 5 marks, then reduce it. Whatever is required, that much you can write. For 10 marks, when you're writing, you need to add whatever is like, it may not be related to the character sketch, but you can also include few points that wherein you can portray, you can show the relationship of Margaya with others also. Okay, so we'll start with this. So we spoke about the dress he used to wear. Okay, then his workplace. Where does he work? Okay, which is the place he works? So there you can mention he used to work under the banyan tree. Okay, under a banyan tree. And most importantly, you should not forget writing about the cooperative bank. Okay, out of a cooperative bank or opposite to a cooperative bank. So this cooperative bank only people used to go and ask for loans and all. Okay, so whenever people went to ask loans, those cooperative bank people used to, that staff used to just shoo them away, saying one or the other mistakes in the documents. Okay, so what Margaya did, he had few application forms that people were supposed to get to apply for loans. Okay, so those things he used to keep with him. He used to help people in order to get loans. Okay, he used to sit outside, that is opposite to the, there was a banyan tree opposite to the cooperative bank. He used to sit there and he used to work for people. Okay, so from morning till evening he used to be there. Fine. His sole position. Okay, you must write all these. Though this opposite to cooperative bank and all is not related to character sketch, you can write it because that shows how he developed that character. Okay, that helping nature towards the people, then what made him think of earning money. So all these will like it actually builds the character of Margaya. So that you can mention there when you're writing for 10 marks. Okay, so I was talking about this cooperative bank. Okay, so he had this sole possession. He had an iron box. Okay, so when you're writing for 10 marks, please mention about the iron box also. Okay, so in that iron box, he had this what and all things you had that Margaya had in that iron box also can be written. He had an ink pot. Okay, he had an ink pot. Then he had a pen. Okay, then he had few application forms. Okay, so these are the things he had in that iron box. So just go to the text in detail. Okay, so go to text in detail. When we come to class also, we can discuss about this. So just a mention about iron box should be there when you're writing for 10 marks. Okay, you need not have to mention when you're writing it for 5 marks. Okay, so this so we are done with this, his attire, that is his dressing sense, and also his workplace. Okay, so that is very important for you to mention. Then comes his love for his son. Okay, this is the most important aspect of the novel. Okay, so that is the actual theme, that is one of the themes around which the novel revolves. Okay, so why does he want to earn money? That is because he wants to give a good life to his son and family. Okay, that is his wife. Okay, so here how do you express how do you show that Margaya expressed love towards his son? Okay, so this love towards his son can be only mentioned when you're writing for 5 marks. Okay, he loved his son the most. Okay, even though he does lot of mischief, even though the son troubles him so much, he does lot of mischief and he throws Margaya's account book to the gutter. Still, Margaya loves his son. Whatever mischief he does, like hitting, beating and all, whatever his son does to Margaya, he loved his son the most. Even towards the end of the middle of the novel and the end of the novel, son actually betrays Margaya. He doesn't study well. Margaya had lot of expectations towards his son, but son has betrayed Margaya so much. Okay, still Margaya loves his son. Okay, there was a time when a news reaches Meenakshi, that is wife of Margaya, that Balu is dead. Balu, the son of Margaya, is dead in Madras. Still, Margaya goes in search of him. Though he was pestered by his brother and wife to go in search of him, he goes, he looks for his son, he finds him in a good state. His son, nothing has happened to his son. He is safe and secure. He brings him back, and again, he doesn't abandon him. He still thinks of ways in which he can help his son to come up in life. Okay, so he thinks marriage would bring his son to a good path, but that doesn't happen. Still, he doesn't leave his son. Though his son asks a few, like a share of property, okay, the ancestral property, he doesn't abandon him again. He tells him, he just advises him, and he keeps his son and his family in a separate house, and he tries to bring him into good path. But still, Balu takes a bad path only. He goes with Dr. Pal, and he indulges himself in all illegal activities. But still, Margaya doesn't let him. Finally, somehow he manages to bring his son to a good path. Okay, so that is his love for his son. Okay, so finally, Margaya's love for his son also can be mentioned there. Okay, so you have to write about the indulgence in how he helps. Okay, indulging of Balu in illegal activities. This I'm telling you when you're writing for 10 marks. Okay, you just have to mention all that because you have to increase the length of the answer. So his relationship with his son, that also will help you in order to increase the answer. Okay, so that the examiner will also know that you know the various aspects of the novel. Fine. So here, indulging of Balu in activities. So then he saves. Okay, then he saves Balu. Okay, so Margaya saves Balu from Dr. Pal. Okay, so all this you can write over there. Fine. Then what expectations he had from his son? Okay, so there you can talk about Balu's degree, like he fails in his exam, sorry, not degree, he fails in his SSLC exam. So that also you can write over there. Okay, so even after many attempts, he fails in the exam, and that also can be mentioned here. What are Margaya's expectations from his son has to be written. Actually, Margaya expects his son to grow in a good way. Okay, like he has to have good habits, all that. Okay, here when you write, you can just talk about Balu's like when he was young and when he was little older. Okay, or maybe his teenager and after his marriage and all. So various stages you can talk about whenever you are writing about the expectations from his son. And also when you're writing about the love for his son, then also you can mention that. Okay, what did he expect when he was a child? Okay, he wanted him to be very loving, he wanted him to be very disciplined, which could not happen. Okay, so that you can mention whenever you are writing this. That shows the love towards the son and the expectations from his son. Okay, so that can be mentioned here. Okay, then most important thing is his love for money. Okay, so Margaya Margaya time and again used to say that man is turned into a beast whenever he doesn't have money. Okay, man turns into a beast whenever man doesn't have money. Okay, so his sole purpose of life was to earn money. Okay, so he saw various ways, he was looking for various ways in which he can earn money. Okay, so first thing he did was to work outside, that is opposite to the cooperative bank. Second, after that, after few days, Arul Das and the secretary, everybody, they just keep him away from the cooperative bank, from helping people. So that time there are some altercations and he had to quit that place. Later what happens, he tries to look for ways, like he tries to go and learn the art of making snuff. Okay, so how do people make that sniffing powder and all that he tries to understand. Then he feels, no, this is not my cup of tea. Then he also tries to learn the art of making this tooth powder, wherein that also fails. Then he feels, yes, this is not my cup of tea. Then he thinks, yes, I should, for me earning money means I should be with money always. So then he thinks of he himself opening a financial, maybe financial institution, or maybe you can say a bank kind of thing, wherein the financial transaction goes on. He gets people's money, then he lends money to the people on interest and all. He does that. Okay, so his sole purpose was to earn money. Okay, so that has to be mentioned here. So Margaya's sole purpose was to earn money in life. Okay, so that has to be mentioned here. Okay, he loved money. For him, other than money, there was nothing. Okay, yeah, of course, he used to he wanted to earn money just to give a good life to his family, just to give good life to his son. Okay, but still he was very greedy about it. It was not like he used to spend less or anything like that, but he wanted to earn money. Only that thing was in his mind. Okay, so then he also is a financial expert. Okay, how do you say he's a financial expert? Okay, so here you can see that though he is put out of that banyan tree opposite to cooperative bank, he doesn't stop earning there, because it is not that he knows only that way of earning money. No, it is something else also. Okay, so when he is put out of that banyan tree, he doesn't lose heart. He tries other ways of earning money. That shows he is a financial expert, how well versed he is in order to looking for ways in which he can earn money. Okay, so that is one way. And he also gets money from people. He tells them to keep it as a deposit in his bank and all, and at the same time he doesn't invest it anywhere. Okay, that is another reason wherein he turns bankrupt by the end of the novel. Okay, so whenever somebody gets some money, they invest it somewhere else. That is a good way of investing it somewhere wherein they can earn money, but he doesn't do that. Okay, so that is the irony. He gets the money, but he doesn't invest it elsewhere. So finally he ends up being a bankrupt. Okay, so you have to write about his financial expertise also. Okay, so like R.K. Narayan calls him as a financial expert because he tries various ways of earning money. Okay, then how he comes up in life by earning money. Okay, so that you can write, and also you can write that this is also used in a very ironical way, satirical way. Okay, satirical means just the opposite of something that is happening. He is a financial expert, but he doesn't invest it anywhere. Okay, so that is another reason that he is called as a financial expert. Why is he called financial expert? One thing positively, the other thing negatively. Okay, so this way you can just write about Margaya. But main thing you have to concentrate is, like, when you're starting to write this answer for a 10-mark question, you just have to write about the appearance, then about the characteristics, then the relationship with other people, everything you can write over there. Okay, so you can call him as a loving father also. He had lot of expectations also. So all these things you can put it in the first paragraph, and then you can start expanding. You can start elaborating each and every point. So this was all about the character sketch of Margaya. Fine. Then we move on to Meenakshi. Okay, so this is actually a minor character, but she has a very important role. Okay, so this is actually a very minor character. Fine. So first let us start with her appearance. She is a typical Indian wife, you can call. Okay, she is a typical Indian wife. So now you get a picture. I need not have to explain much about it. When you get a picture of the typical Indian wife, then you can go on explain. You can go on elaborating. Okay, what is it? Okay, you can say like she's always in her traditional wear. Okay, you can always you can say that she is always in her traditional wear. Okay, then she usually waits for husband. She usually waits for husband for lunch or dinner, whatever. Okay, she usually waits for that. Then she tolerates all his moods. Okay, tolerates the husband. Okay, like even when he is angry, okay, then she tolerates, she takes it the same way when he is not angry, also the same way she takes it. Like whenever he is angry, or maybe he is not angry, the same way she takes it both the times. Okay, so that you can write over here. Then she also helps him a great deal when he tries to do that puja. When he does that puja, she helps him the utmost. Okay, helps him the most while doing the puja, during this puja time. Okay, that Lakshmi puja what Margaya does. Okay, so that also can be mentioned over here. Actually Margaya, the ways in which Margaya tries to earn money, Lakshmi puja is also one of the things. Okay, so then she only helps him a lot. Okay, then comes her suffering. Okay, so when you talk about her suffering, you can talk about how she suffered when Margaya did not have money. Okay, then there was a partition between Margaya and his brother. Like the house was partitioned. Okay, the house was partitioned, and the partition wall went in between the house. So one side the brother used to say, Margaya's brother used to say, the other side Margaya used to stay in a house. Whereas there was a well at the backyard which belonged to both of them. Margaya had agreed to he agreed to provide water through that well to his brother. Okay, based on the public opinion. So what suffering she faced, like she could not mingle with those people. Then whenever the brother's wife used to come to wash vessels or something like that, then she also had to face them. Okay, whenever she used to go out also, like like compared to Margaya's what to say, the financial condition, the brother's financial condition was slightly better. Okay, so all that mattered on Meenakshi also. Okay, so the emotional turmoil what she underwent. Okay, the emotional turmoil what she underwent. Okay, so that also can be mentioned over here. Okay, then she also gets a news when Balu just goes out of the house. Okay, he just runs away somewhere, and finally she receives a news that he is dead. Okay, that time also she faces lot of emotional turmoil. Okay, so all those things can be mentioned over here. When Balu was very young, okay, when Balu was very young, she used to watch the father and son play at the in the house. But whenever there was a quarrel between them also, she never used to go and stop that. Okay, she used to patiently watch. Okay, so she was a very patient person. Okay, she had lot of patience. So there, whenever you're talking about this patience, you can write about the relationship of Margaya and Balu, which she used to see through her eyes. Okay, so that you can mention over here. Okay, so then other suffering when Margaya just goes into bankruptcy. Okay, so you have to write about this one Balu's death also. Then also she suffers. Okay, then also she suffers, so that you can write over here. Then when Margaya goes bankrupt, so then what happens, how much does she suffer, so that also can be written here. So about Margaya's bankruptcy you can specify here. Okay, when he goes bankrupt, so what happens is she had to give all her jewels in order to balance the money which had to be paid back to the customers who had invested in this one Margaya's bank. Okay, so that time what turmoil she undergoes, what is the suffering she undergoes, so that also can be mentioned here. Then at last, what is the change in her life? Okay, so change in her life, you can write about how she changes when Balu returns. Okay, so you can write about change in her life when Balu returns, okay, safe and sound from Madras. Okay, so when Balu returns from Madras, she changes a lot. Okay, she changes a lot. She shows lot of love towards Balu. Then when Balu gets married, so that time also she shows a lot of love towards the daughter-in-law. So that also can be written over here. Then what changes you see when Margaya's life changes? Okay, when Margaya's life changes, she also undergoes lot of changes in her life. Okay, so that also you can write over here. Okay, so these things can be mentioned when you write about the changes in her life. Okay, so let us discuss more about this when we come to the classes. Okay, so these are the things you have to mention whenever you are writing about the character sketch of Meenakshi. Fine. Next, we go to Balu, the son of Margaya. This is like you can say the typical rude son who doesn't obey the parents. So that is the actual character of this person. So what is his age? He is very young, somewhere around 20, 22, 24. So that age you can mention here. He was very young. Okay, then what is his appearance? How does he appear? He is short statured, then he is very smart. Okay, so all these can be mentioned here. His physical appearance can be mentioned. Fine. Then his character. What is his character? So many characters are there. Okay, he was very disobedient even as a child and also as a youth personality. Okay, so when he was a child, he never used to listen to his father. There was one incident wherein, okay, you can talk about this gutter incident over here. Okay, wherein the like he had asked his father to get something while coming from work, but father doesn't get. So what he does, when Margaya keeps looking at the account book, what Balu does is he just goes and just pulls that account book and says, till you get something for me, I'm going to play with this. And he just runs to the street. Then Margaya just runs behind him. He is very disobedient. He doesn't listen to his parents. Finally, he just throws that account book to the gutter, which leads to the downfall of Margaya. Okay, so disobedient, you can just write about the gutter incident. Okay, this is actually, you have to mention this gutter incident whenever you are writing about this disobedience of Balu. Okay, so gutter incident has to be mentioned. Then other like when this was when he was a child. Okay, when he grows up, his disobedience means you can write about the like when he asks for share in the property. Okay, he asks for share in the property, so that also you can mention over here. Okay, when Dr. Pal instigates Balu to ask for share in the property, so he is very disobedient to his father. He gives back answers and all. Okay, so all these you can mention whenever you are writing about disobedience. Okay, so this has to be mentioned. Then comes rude. So rudeness also you can talk about the property share. Okay, you can say based on somebody's instigation, Balu asks for property share. He just gives back answer. Then Margaya actually gives him only half a rupee and says, this is what I have got from my ancestors. I just got 1 rupee and I'm giving you 50 paise. That is half of the property I'm giving you. Okay, he is very rude to the father first. Then he is very rude towards his mother. He is also rude towards his wife. Okay, so after he gets married and all, he is very rude to his wife also. He doesn't stay at home whenever she asks him any question. Of course, Brinda, the wife of Balu, doesn't ask much of many questions, but still whatever she asks, he doesn't reply properly and he is very rude to them. So that characteristic of rudeness can be brought over here. Okay, he is rude to everybody, but he is good only to Dr. Pal, who helps him to indulge in all these illegal activities. Okay, so then we have this saddest kind of thing. So saddest kind of character, so that also can be written. So here also you can mention the gutter incident and the register, the mark register which he throws to the throws away. Okay, so not only the account book, he has also thrown the register also to the gutter. Okay, but account book, that grabs a prominence in the novel because that leads to the downfall of Margaya. Fine. So he is a sadist. He doesn't let anybody be at peace. Okay, so that can be mentioned when you're talking about Balu's character. Okay, so then he was disinterested in studies. Okay, he has failed many times in his exams, so that can be mentioned here. Okay, he has failed in exams, and because his father asks him to study well, he just flees to Madras. Okay, flees to run away. Okay, just he runs away to Madras. Okay, so this can be mentioned in disinteresting in studies. Okay, at last you have this, his life after returning from Madras. So once when he is out of the house, then they'll start pampering him more when he comes back. Okay, so Margaya gives him all the luxuries. He just tells like he doesn't scold him and all. That is also because of love towards his son, that also can be said. But he doesn't like he doesn't scold him, he doesn't worry about him, he just lets him lead his life. Okay, Margaya lets him lead his life to Balu. So that what does that do? He just indulges in all illegal activities. Okay, so he starts leading a lavish life. Okay, so that can be mentioned here when you are talking about his life after returning from Madras. Okay, so this can be mentioned here. Then how does his mother treat him, how Margaya gets Balu married, all this can be mentioned when you're writing about the life after he comes from Madras. So you have to write about marriage, then the lavish lifestyle. Okay, all these can be mentioned when you are writing about his life after returning from Madras. Okay, so nothing about studies, he just had to lead his life in a lavish way. Okay, so that's it, that can be mentioned here. So this is all about the characteristics, that is a character sketch of Balu. Okay, so this may be asked for 5 marks. Okay, yeah, there is much to write about Balu, but usually they will not ask for 10 marks, they will ask for 5 marks. Fine. Then we have Dr. Pal. Okay, so Dr. Pal is actually the person who is responsible for the growth of Margaya as well as the ruining of Margaya. He is the force behind it. Okay, so that you can mention. Who is Dr. Pal? He is a sociologist. Okay, he is a sociologist. At the same time, he is also a psychologist. Okay, sorry. He is also a psychologist. Okay, he has written a book. Okay, he has written a book about the marital happiness. Okay, he calls it as a sociology book. Okay, so he writes about the marital happiness, and this is what he sells to Margaya. Okay, so he has sold this copyrights to Margaya. Okay, so this is what you can mention here. How does he appear? He is he appears very decent, he is very smart looking. Okay, so that way you can write. Okay, so smart looking, decent, so this can be written. Fine. Then we have, he is a friend of Margaya. How does he become a friend to Margaya? So when do they meet? They meet near the lotus pond. Okay, so Margaya and his meeting point, okay, that was near the lotus pond when Margaya comes in search of the lotus flower for Lakshmi Puja. Okay, so then that is a time they meet. Then he himself introduces to Margaya. Okay, then that time he takes him home. Okay, he takes Margaya to his house. So that meeting can be mentioned here if at all you are writing for 10 marks. Okay, if you are writing for 5 marks, just a mention of all these can be done. That's it. Okay, so he takes Margaya to his dungeon kind of house. Dungeon, so they'll have all this, like you set up a life wherein there is a garage and all the things are lying there only. So that is called as a dungeon. All the things will be kept there only. Okay, so you can call it as a dungeon. Very small house, not a very like you can say well settled house, no, nothing like that. He just lives in a small room. Okay, so there he goes and talks about his new book. Okay, so then he is also called as the Ruiner of Malgaya. So here you can mention about how he was the reason behind Margaya's downfall. Okay, so he just sells his book to Margaya and he becomes the reason for growth of Margaya. Okay, he is the reason behind Margaya earning lot of money. Okay, but at the same time, when he indulges in all illegal activities with Balu, Margaya just goes and thrashes him nicely. He just puts him out of Balu's house. After that, what happens? He just starts talking to people about Margaya's bad character. He tells he has beaten me up, all these and all. He just starts telling, and he also instigates people to get the money, just withdraw money from Margaya's bank. So that is the reason for Margaya's ruining. So this can be mentioned when you're writing about Dr. Pal as a ruiner of Margaya. Only this can be given for 10 marks. Okay, how do you consider Dr. Pal as ruiner of Margaya? Can be given for 10 marks. Okay, so which we'll be discussing in when you come to the physical classroom, or when we discuss about the model question paper, what and all you have to write there. Okay, so that alone can be written for 10 marks. Fine. So all these things you can write whenever you are sketching the character of Dr. Pal. That is one thing. Then the minor character, that is Madan Lal. He was just a printer in Malgudi. Okay, so the Malgudi again is the fictional town that is coined by R.K. Narayan. Okay, he was a printer. He was a very good, very good at giving and taking. Okay, he discusses a lot of discussion happens between Margaya and him, and how does he appear? Like he has a dhoti, then the typical Indian, the villager kind of thing. Okay, so that can be written here. Okay, so typical Indian attire. Okay, or South Indian attire you can say. Okay, typical South Indian attire is the main thing you have to write. So his relationship with Margaya, it is just purely business. Okay, he is a business minded person, purely business only. Okay, he knows a lot about printing. Okay, he has a sound knowledge about printing, and that's why he has survived all these years in printing. So he has sound knowledge about printing. So that is what he does with Margaya. That is the business that he does with Margaya. Okay, he just reads the whole manuscript. Okay, the whole manuscript he reads, then he decides whether to print it or not. Okay, he is very skeptical whether Margaya has written, because Margaya looks so decent and he has written such a book that is about marital happiness and all. So he was very skeptical to publish, but that's the reason he just reads the whole manuscript and then decides to print it. Okay, then he decides how much profit Margaya should get, how much profit, the profit sharing and all he discusses. Okay, so this usually will be given for 5 marks, and it's a short answer type question. You can write it. Okay, so then we have the next this one minor character, that is Arul Das. It is actually a very important character because he acts as he is a head servant at Cooperative Bank. Okay, he is the bridge between the Cooperative Bank. Okay, he is the bridge between the Cooperative Bank and Margaya. Okay, he always comes and delivers whatever message the Cooperative bank gives to Margaya. Okay, so he is the bridge, you can say. He is the messenger. Okay, he comes and usually talks from Cooperative Bank, whatever message the secretary sends, he comes and tells Margaya, and whatever Margaya tells, he used to go and tell it there. Okay, so at times he has also, like, how does he appear? Okay, how does he appear? He wears a uniform which is khaki. Okay, he wears a uniform, and what he does is, inside the Cooperative Bank, he's just a servant. When he comes out of the Cooperative Bank, he feels that he has an air of authority because he is carrying the message of that Cooperative Bank to Margaya. Okay, he feels that authority. Then he tries to put it on Margaya. He tries to show that authority on Margaya. Okay, so usually this character will be given for 5 marks. So you can write about what authority he shows towards Margaya. Only because of that uniform, he has such an authority. Okay, he just tries to overpower Margaya. He just tries to belittle Margaya in front of all the villagers. Okay, insult Margaya in front of the villagers, which he will not be able to do. But at the same time, Margaya is also worried about Arul Das. Okay, when Margaya is just evacuated from that place, okay, he is just thrown away from that place where under the banyan tree, he worries about Arul Das also. Like he thinks, yes, tomorrow when Arul Das sees me, he will also start making fun of me, he thinks. Okay, so all that is there in Arul Das. He has that air of authority outside the cooperative bank. So that has to be mentioned here. Okay, so he wears a uniform and he has this air of authority. So when you write about this relationship with Margaya, you can write that he is just a messenger, nothing else. Okay, he is just a messenger and he tries to be he tries to show the authority. Okay, he tries to prove authority over this Margaya. Okay, so all these things you can mention. He has no relationship between with the villagers. He is just talking to Margaya. He is just a messenger between the secretary and Margaya. That's it. He has no other relationship with anybody else. Okay, so that you can also write he is an old Christian also. Okay, he is an old Christian. That is also mentioned in the novel. When you're writing about his appearance, you can write grey mustache. Okay, you don't say white hair, you say grey hair. Okay, so you can write that also. He has a grey mustache. Okay, so this can be mentioned when you're writing about the appearance. Okay, so that was all about Arul Das. Then we have the last character, that is Brinda, the wife of this one Balu. That is the daughter-in-law of Meenakshi and Margaya. Okay, so what is she? Her appearance, she is also a very pious lady. Okay, she is also very patient. Okay, this is a typical R.K. Narayan kind of female. Okay, so all R.K. Narayan's females are typical Indian kind of females. Okay, so she is a typical Indian woman. Here also you can write that. Okay, typical Indian woman. She tolerates Balu's activities to the core. Okay, so anybody else would have just run away, but she tolerates it too much. Okay, her relationship with Balu, she doesn't utter a word even when Balu is out of the house at night also. She doesn't question him at all. She doesn't even take these activities of Balu, she doesn't even report these activities of Balu to Margaya. Okay, only when Margaya comes to her house one day and he finds that Balu is not there at home even at night, then only she tells him what and all is happening because of Dr. Pal. Okay, so that was when Margaya is also dejected. That is, he learns about Dr. Pal and he feels very sad. Okay, so this was the person I had friendship with. This was the person I used to consider, I used to respect a lot, he thinks. Okay, so her relationship with Balu, you can write about how much she tolerates Balu's activities. Okay, tolerance towards Balu's activities, Balu's and Dr. Pal's activities. Okay, so this you can write over here. Okay, so and also you can write she doesn't report anything to Margaya. So that can be written when you are talking about the relationship with the father-in-law. Okay, so she doesn't report anything about Balu. Okay, so she doesn't report anything about Balu's activities. So that can be mentioned over here. She has a child in the novel, that can also be mentioned when you're writing about it. And most importantly, she's just a 17-year-old lady. Okay, she's a 17-year-old girl who has got married. Okay, so this you have to mention because it is specifically mentioned in the novel. Okay, so she was a daughter of a very well-off man. She did not have to undergo all these turmoil compared to what her father is, but still she gets married. And another thing, if you want to mention, you may do that. Hers and Balu's horoscopes, they do not match. Still, she tolerates him. Okay, usually when horoscopes match, then only they get the they perform this marriage. But here the horoscopes do not match, but still the marriage is done, and she tolerates Balu in order to lead a comfortable life, in order to lead a happy life. Okay, she thinks if I don't report this to Margaya, if I don't report this to the elders, then I'll be very comfortable, the life will be happy. But it's the opposite way. Only when she reports it, the life becomes better. Okay, so that's it. So This is all about the character sketch. We have learnt about so many major characters and minor characters. Okay, so any doubts we can discuss about this in the classes when you come to physical classes. So let us meet again in our next session about the summary of financial expert. I would like you to go through the character sketch so that you will understand what is what kind of a character, and you'll understand the summary better. You'll understand the novel better. Okay. So I expect you to go through the recorded session, and any doubts, please mark the doubts and come back. Let us meet again in another more interesting session. Okay. So thank you so much. See you again. Take care. Bye-bye.